I would invite the delegates to turn to page 253 of today's, that is Sunday's, today's business, for Resolution 5-02. Concerning a prior speaker's concern, we will not be...
Do you mean 502A?
502A, thank you, Reverend Chairman. Regarding a previous speaker's concern regarding the reading of the whereas, it was the Chair of Floor Committee 5's determination that the whereases were essential to the last resolution. We will not read the whereases for 502A. I would draw the delegates' attention to the top of page 254, line 1. A bit past halfway through that line, it should read the Pastoral Colloquy Committee. Or is that on line 2? I'm sorry. Line 2, the Pastoral Colloquy Committee, add the word committee. I call upon the Reverend David Steckholz to read the resolution.
To support and encourage participation in post-seminary applied learning and support initiative, and just the resolves beginning on the bottom of page 253. Resolved that the PALS staff continue its effort to enhance the curriculum, facilitator training, and other key aspects of the program, and be it further resolved that both LCMS seminaries and the Pastoral Colloquy Committee continue to encourage students to participate in PALS during the first 3 years of parish ministry, and be it further resolved that the district staff in the districts participating in PALS continue to provide significant encouragement to new seminary graduates and their wives to participate in PALS during the first 3 years of post-seminary parish life, communicating their involvement to be an expectation the district has of new pastors and wives in the district, and be it further resolved that districts participating in PALS continue to make every effort to inform congregations receiving seminary graduates of the importance of PALS participation by their new pastors and wives, and be it further resolved that districts not participating in PALS be encouraged to consider doing so, and be it further resolved that congregations receiving new seminary graduates encourage and provide support for their pastors and wives to participate in all PALS gatherings during the first 3 years of parish ministry, e.g. non-vacation time off for PALS gatherings, financial support is feasible, etc., and be it finally resolved that Synod in Convention express its continued support and encouragement for the PALS initiative. Reverend Chair, on behalf of the committee, I move adoption.
The question is on the adoption of Resolution 502A on pages 253 and 254, with the addition of the word committee following the word colloquy on line 2 on the top of page 254. Is there any discussion on this motion? If you'd like to speak in favor, press 1 on your lanyard device, the small one. If you'd like to speak in opposition, press 2. Please enter the queue now. We'll go to microphone 2, Brian Reeves, speaking con.
Brian Reeves, Northern Illinois District Pastoral Delegate. For the resolution that begins on page 254, lines 5 through 8, if there could be some clarification as to the wives' participation in PALS, that would be very helpful.
For the committee, is there a particular question you have, sir?
I participated in PALS. We are two-family income. That was usually during the day when my wife works. And for me to support something like that, I don't know that I could.
For the committee, there is the word encouragement. There are other situations. In that situation, she would not be required to attend.
Okay, next in line, a pro speaker at microphone 3, Johnson Rethanasamy. Oh, he just removed himself from the queue. Microphone, I think you remove, is Johnson Rethanasamy still wishing to speak? As I think he was removed instead of Brian Reeves from the queue. If not, all right, he's disappeared too. Go to Ralph Jacob at microphone 4, please. I'm sorry, and I should have, Martin Marks, William Hessler, Alan Struckmeyer are the next ones in line. So in microphone 4, Ralph Jacob.
Ralph Jacob, lay delegate, Berwyn, Illinois. Mine is one of a point of question. For non-geographic districts, is there going to be any effort for the geographic district to aid those non-geographic pastors?
If you'll give me just a moment. President Steckholtz of the English District, a non-geographical district.
We always encourage all our men and the wives as well in PALS to participate with the geographic district wherever they may be found, where the closest PALS is available to them.
Thank you.
Okay, microphone 4, again, Martin Marks.
Hi, Mr. Chairman. Marty Marks, Pastoral Delegate, Northern Illinois District. Mine's really more a point of inquiry from maybe somebody from the Council of Presidents. Can you speak to the success or failings of the program? The whereas has mentioned some of the things that happen in it, but is it going well? Is it not going well? That's what I'd like to know. So,
For the committee and as a district president, it is going very well, and we have had the request from our PALS participants to extend the PALS program because it is going so well.
Okay, we go to microphone 8, William Hessler.
William Hessler, Pastoral Delegate, Michigan District, Saginaw Circuit. My wife and I are PALS facilitators for the Michigan District, and I urge adoption of this resolution. We can speak personally of the benefits that PALS has been to those who have been graduating from the seminary, making that transition into parish life, but particularly for the wives. Oftentimes in the process, the husband is getting all kinds of strokes as being a new pastor and recognized by everyone. The wives sometimes tend to be forgotten in the process, but PALS offers them an opportunity to get together and share with each other and encourage one another. I urge adoption. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Alan Struckmeyer next at microphone 7. He's going to be followed by Marcio Pestridge, Louis Bolt, Mark Carter. So microphone 7, Alan Struckmeyer.
Alan Struckmeyer, Florida, Georgia District Voting Delegate. I too serve as a PALS facilitator along with my wife. I cannot say enough about how this program is especially helpful for wives who oftentimes don't have an opportunity to voice their concerns or needs in other settings. We meet on weekends when wives oftentimes are not working, and that allows them to participate. Serving in Florida, Georgia, I also am serving as facilitator for a young man and his wife from the Southern District as well. So we do take in the non-geographic as well as serve as the closest facilitator for some of our pastors. Thank you.
Very good. We go to microphone 4, Marcel Pestridge, and please excuse the chair if I've mispronounced your name.
It's okay. Marcel Prestridge from Texas District. Our congregation was very blessed to receive a seminary graduate last June. He and his wife have both been to the PALS weekend or week whenever it was held, and they have said that it was invaluable. They've just very much enjoyed talking to other pastors that are new and getting some strokes, like you said, and particularly the wives.
Thank you. We go to microphone 1, Louis Bolt.
Louis Bolt, voting delegate, Southern District. With regard to the resolved on the top of page 254, it seems, and this is a point of question, just a question, that both LCMS seminaries and the Pastoral Colloquy Committee to encourage students. I was under the impression the colloquy related to people coming from other church bodies versus pastoral formation, possibly? Related to students.
Yes, for the committee.
Reverend Chairman, I'm happy to speak for the committee on this. This was an addition that came about as a result of the floor committee hearings. We had individuals who had come through the colloquy program, and they have seen the results of those who have been in the SMP program. That has been an omission up to this point, and this would be an addition to the PALS program to involve colloquy students. They feel that it would be a great help.
Would they?
If, with the indulgence of the Assembly, as chairman of the colloquy committee, we do require various classes at times for pastoral colloquy, so often they are students in some sense. Mark Carter at microphone 6 is listed next.
Mark Carter, I'm a pastoral delegate from Oklahoma. And my question is, we are calling a new associate pastor and who has a wife and a young child. But I am really pretty naively unaware of, when they talk about curriculum development, what the curriculum is. And is there a site, not because I would say no to this, because I'm 100% in support of it, but I would like to know, as who would be the senior pastor, where I might go so that I can also solicit the support of the congregation for this new young pastor.
Speaking to the delegate, there are PALS supervisors, and the head of our Office of Pastoral Education is Dr. Glenn Thomas. That information will be available from him. I've also asked Dr. Thomas to the podium to speak a little bit about the curriculum, the PALS curriculum.
Thank you.
So on behalf of the committee, Dr. Thomas.
Thank you. First of all, I would direct your attention to the PALS web page on the LCMS.org website. That is www.lcms.org/PALS. The PALS curriculum we are continuing to develop and strengthen, and we are asking new pastors what types of subjects they would find most helpful as they make this transition from seminary to congregation. You see that in the development of some of our most recent courses, 2 of them in preaching, 1 of them in handling conflict as it arises in a congregation, and 2 of them are actually a 2-part course in pastoral counseling and the making of effective referrals when those come to you. We have other courses in the works, for example, premarital pastoral preparation that would include the subject of cohabitation today, also one on biblical stewardship in the congregation. So this curriculum is listed again on the PALS page on the LCMS.org website, and we continue to ask new graduates what subject would be most helpful to them and develop our curriculum accordingly.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Next in line is Marvin St. Pierre at microphone 7. He'll be followed by Johnson Rathanasamy, Matthew Cole, Frank Steckelberg. So microphone 7, Marvin St. Pierre.
Thank you. My name is Marvin St. Pierre. I'm a voting delegate from California, Nevada, Hawaii District. I'd like to offer a motion, hopefully a friendly amendment, that on the second resolve, page 254, line 7, that we strike communicating their involvement to be an expectation the district has of new pastors and wives in the district.
Okay, this is a motion to amend on line 7, page 254. And your motion, just so that I understand, the motion to amend is to strike the words communicating their involvement to me an expectation the district has of new pastors and wives in the district. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Is there a second? Okay, you have opportunity to speak to the motion to amend.
It sounds like the PALS program is a very good and very useful program. When we use words like communicating it to be an expectation, that carries with it much more than an encouragement. That carries with it the demand of a requirement to me.
Okay. The chair has a bit of a dilemma here. We have an amendment on the floor. There are quite a number of folks lined up in the queue to speak to the main motion, but now we have to do away with that queue and begin a new queue to speak to the amendment. The amendment is on the floor. So there was a second to the amendment. So the amendment is on the floor. It belongs now to the Assembly. So we have to form a new queue to speak to the amendment. And the amendment is specifically to delete basically line 7 and part of line 8 in page 254. So if you're in favor of the amendment to delete that portion mentioned, please, or might wish to speak in favor, please press 1 on your little device. If you're not in favor, please press 2 on your little device. Please queue now. Okay, we have at microphone 3, Michael Batchelor speaking con. Microphone 3, please.
Michael Batchelor from the Kansas District, lay delegate. We don't always like to be told things that are enforced as opposed to encouraged. I guess I can't speak from the perspective of a pastor directly, but I can speak from watching some of this occur with a new pastor who's thrown to the wolves, baptism by fire, and under attack. He goes from, I'm going to borrow a term from a book called The Hammer of God, where there's a character that talks about wanting to go back to the ivory tower of seminary instead of where he's at. And in that scenario, there's all kinds of situations where that pastor is going to be sucked in to the next demand. And if it comes down to encouragement, he has discretion to not go and in an effort to potentially sacrifice himself further. Sometimes it's healthy. I know this from the military. I know this from being parented. I know this from parenting. I know this from industry. I know this from being the son of a boss. I know this from being in charge of some people. And I think I know it from watching a mandate to get them out of the line of fire and gathered with some of their peers. I've seen the stress go away, and then I've seen that pastor come back relieved and recharged a bit, and it kind of helps that pastor, okay, reset, yeah, I am where I need to be, you know, and I think they kind of need that. It seems like it might be asking too much to make that their call in that moment.
Okay, your time's up. Thank you. Next in the queue, speaking against the amendment at microphone 12, Carl Fickencher.
Carl Fickencher, Advisory Representative, Concordia Theological Seminary, Fort Wayne. The amendment is actually an opportunity for a seminary commercial on behalf of PALS. Whether the amendment is passed or not is not really the big deal, but I would say that people sometimes have the mistaken impression that PALS is somehow intended to be something that adds to inadequacies of the seminary program, and the seminaries don't feel that way at all. The fact is, we at our seminary, and I'm certain also at St. Louis, are delighted with the work of PALS to the extent that we really tell our students each spring when they graduate that we do expect them to participate in PALS. So leaving those words in the resolution, I think, are perfectly fine.
Okay. Remember, we're speaking specifically to the amendment. I'm going to microphone 3, Larry Rogers. Next will be Paul Bieber, Timothy Kinney, Richard Krieger. So Larry Rogers, microphone 3. Going once, going twice. Is he coming? You have to go to your right microphone. I'm going to microphone 4, Paul Bieber.
Paul Bieber.
Bieber,
Pastoral Delegate, SELC District. To the layperson that spoke earlier, I would like to say amen. When you come out of the seminary, the expectations are great, and the tendency is to not accept anything on your plate other than what's already before you. The SELC district has done a wonderful job of placing PALS before their graduates since its inception. I started in PALS 12 years ago when I graduated, and I'm very thankful to our district president who specifically contacted me to not demand, but to express the expectation that this blessing would be utilized by myself and our other graduates. So I would strongly discourage this amendment, leaving the wording in, because the district presidents are very good at doing this in an appropriate way and helping out these young pastors that really do benefit greatly from this wonderful program. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a point of order here? Yes, sir. What rule have we violated? Microphone 2, please.
Randy Blankshane, Pastoral Delegate, Southern District. I don't know if there's a rule violation, but I was just wondering how much time is left for debate. I don't know if there's the calling of the
That's
question.
not a point of order. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't understand. I guess I have a question.
Okay, I'll speak to the question.
Okay.
Our standing rule is that for every motion, we have 20 minutes of debate, and at the end of 20 minutes, the timekeepers tell me whether or not I should call the question. That time clock gets reset when there's an amendment that comes on the floor. So, and when the amendment is dealt with, then we'll go back to the resolution time clock. Is that?
Yeah, I guess my question then is how much time's left? Do the timekeepers know or no? All right, thank you.
The timekeeper tells me there's 7 minutes, 30 seconds into the amendment. Okay. I'm taking the list just as we go down as people have signed up for the queue. Microphone 7, Timothy Kinney.
I'd like to speak in favor to leave the motion the way it is, against the amendment. The PALS program was developed because earlier in the early 90s, we had men leaving the ministry after 6 to 18 months. This gives an expectation that the development continues even after seminary experience.
Thank you. Microphone 10, Richard Krieger.
Richard Kruger, Advisory Representative from the Michigan District. I speak against the amendment as a commission worker at a congregation with a new pastor, we know that he has benefited greatly from the PALS program, and I believe that it is reasonable to have an expectation that all new pastors attend this program.
Thank you. Next in line is Charles Ferry at microphone 2. He's going to be followed by Hans Feeney, Alan Wollenberg, John Frazier.
Charles Ferry, voting delegate from the Michigan District. I am against the amendment to this resolution. Leaving the language in there gives a lot more leeway for a new pastor to use with his new congregation to emphasize that this is not just something that he wants to do, but something that is expected for him to do. It gives him a lot more opportunities to be away when the PALS group meets and to get a lot more support in the congregational leadership. If this is an expectation that has been placed upon their new pastor, many times they will be more supportive than this if this is just perceived as something that he wants to do to get an extra few days of vacation. Thank you.
Thank you. Also speaking to the amendment, Hans Feeney, microphone 2.
Pastor Hans Feeney, Northern Illinois District voting delegate. I call the question.
Okay. The question has been called on the amendment. So it is moved and seconded to end debate on the amendment, which is to strike the words communicating their involvement to be an expectation the district has of new pastors and wives in the district. That's the amendment. It's been moved and seconded to end debate. Using your large voting keypad, press 1 if you're in favor of ending debate. Press 2 if you're not in favor of ending debate. Please vote now. So the results are obvious. You have voted to close debate on the amendment with 97% of the vote. Therefore, the amendment goes before you. The amendment to strike the words communicating their involvement to be an expectation the district has and so forth. All in favor, using your large voting device, all in favor of the amendment to strike those words, please press 1 for yes, and all opposed to striking those words, please press 2 for no. Please vote now. The amendment fails with 85% opposed. So the main motion unamended is before you, and now we will start a new queue to continue discussion of the main motion. Please press on your little lanyard device, the other little thing. Press 1 if you're pro, press 2 if you're con. Please enter that queue now. We again have a whole string of folks. We're going to go with, and this is what happens, we began a new queue. Jeremy Jacoby, Alan Wallenberg, Eric Estes, and Matthew Priam. Those are the first ones I have. So we'll go to microphone 4, Jeremy Jacoby.
Jeremy Jacoby, voting delegate, Rocky Mountain District. I move to call a question.
I'm taking the... It's been moved and seconded to end debate on the main motion, 502A. Again, going back to your large voting keypad, Press 1 if you're in favor of ending debate. Press 2 if you are not in favor of ending debate. Please vote now. "97% in favor of ending debate. Therefore, without further discussion, the main motion goes before you to adopt Resolution 502A, beginning on page 253. Using, again, your large voting keypads, all those in favor of adopting the resolution, please vote yes by pressing 1. Those opposed, please vote no by pressing 2. Please vote now. We have the results. 95.3% or 994 voting yes, 49 votes or 4.7% voting no. The motion is adopted.